Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So today we'll discuss the third verse of Dāmodarāṣṭakaṁ. Very, very beautiful. We'll sing together. Iti driksvalila bhirananda kunde swagosham nimajjantam makyapayantam tadiyeshitagneshu bhaktyajitатvam punha prematastam shadda vritti vande. So here, the meditation of Satyavrat Muni is really amazing. In the first two verses, especially in the first verse, he starts by paying obeisances. Namāmīśvaram sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam. And after that, he starts the entire Leela of Damodar. How he started running around after stealing the butter, and how Mother Yasoda is running and she caught Krishna. And after catching Krishna, she tied him to the wooden grinding mortar. And during that time, what was the expression and the mood of Krishna, that is also given. And how he was crying, rubbing his eyes and tears in the eyes. And along with the tears, there is fear also in the eyes. And when all this is going on, Mother Yasoda, with her love, bhakti baddham, that's the word that comes. She ties Krishna to the wooden grinding mortar. Now he completes the entire Damodar Leela pastime in the first two verses. And after that, in the third verse, he says, iti drik. He was saying, iti drik, like this, in such a way, or pastimes like this. So it goes on to say that when it comes to Satyavrat Muni, he is not just seeing or meditating on the pastime of Damodar, or Damodar Leela to be more specific, but all those pastimes that has happened till now, till Damodar Leela, right from Krishna's childhood, his appearance, till this point, whatever pastimes Krishna has performed. And then he says, Swa Leela Abhir, his own pastimes, Lord's own pastimes. Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajjantam. So when he performs pastimes, when Krishna is performing pastimes, so the devotees there, or the gopis and the gopas, all the associates of the Lord, the Vrindavan Vasis, the Brajavasis, who are seeing all these pastimes. I don't know what it means to see the pastimes of the Lord, but I can imagine when we read from Srimad Bhagavatam, and just by reciting these pastimes, hearing these pastimes, we feel so blissful. Just imagine seeing live. And all those Brajavasis are seeing it live. And it is described, and they're seeing all these pastimes. They were relishing so much. They were drowning in Ananda Kunda. This Kunda is not made of water, nor the description that comes, no? There are oceans of salt, what is that? Salt water, sugarcane juice, and liquor, and this and that. There's so much of description that comes when it comes to the entire cosmic manifestation. But then here we're not talking about any of such water, any of such sugarcane juice or whatever. You're talking about Ananda Kunda. They're drowning themselves, Nimajjantam. They're drowning themselves in Ananda Kunda, in the pools of ecstasy, in the pools of happiness. That's very nice, to note that when the devotees are drowning themselves in Ananda Kunda, what is Krishna doing? And this line also refers to Krishna himself also is drowning in the Ananda Kunda of his own Leela. So devotees are drowning in Ananda Kunda, Krishna is drowning in Ananda Kunda. Who else remained in Dham then? The entire Dham is drowning in Ananda Kunda. That's what the first line, it says. Iti drik swa leela bhir Ananda Kunde Swaghosham. His own devotees, his own Dham. Nimajjantam, they're drowning. They're immersing themselves in this Kunda. Now I was thinking, what are these different pastimes then? many, many pastimes. If you refer to Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 8th chapter, there starts Krishna's various pastimes, starting with Krishna's Namakarana Samskar, which happened in the cowshed. So we'll not get into that. But after Namakarana Samskar, Shukadeva Goswami says, now Krishna started crawling. Now these crawling pastimes are very nice, and the verse that describes the crawling pastime, it says, when Krishna started crawling, it was like the snake crawling. That's the comparison that is given. And Mother Yasoda and Mother Rohini would dress both of them very nicely, Krishna and Balram. They would have the beautiful dress on, and they would have various ornaments, and also they would have big ankle bells on their feet. And when kids come, or devotee kids, we understand now this kid has come, especially in Mangalarati. So they had those ankle bells. And when the kids crawl on their hands and knees, we see that the ankle bells will tinkle and the sound is heard. It's a long, long time back, in my initial days of Krishna consciousness, these pastimes I had heard. And this particular thing, after that I didn't hear, so I remember that. So when they would crawl, they would search, where is the sound coming from? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, all knowing, is thinking, where is the sound coming from? Just coming from his own ankle bells. And they keep searching. Now today when I was reading this verse, so there Shukadeva, there Prabhupada, he's translating, that hearing the ankle bell sound of other gopis, Krishna would start crawling behind them thinking, oh, my mother is going here. And then they will crawl. And then when the gopis turn back, look at Krishna and Balram, it is described Krishna and Balram become bhitavat. Now they are very scared, afraid, and they take a U-turn and start crawling the other direction. Now when the gopis are looking at, the elderly motherly gopis are looking at this pastime of the Lord, they're just drowning in ecstasy. They're so happy. Just imagine. We can just imagine and just feel the happiness. After this, it is described that after crawling everywhere, now obviously we'll not have tiles in Braj or marbles in Braj, I mean the marble tiles or whatever. It's all mud. And you can just imagine 9 lakh cows of Nanda Maharaj. So how much cow urine will be around and how much cow dung will be around, and all that mixed with the mud. Now imagine the entire place of Rajabhumi. And especially just outside the house of Nanda Maharaj in a courtyard, what would be the situation? And these two kids, they will crawl everywhere in that muddy pool of urine and cow dung and mud, and their entire body would be decorated. You will never find Shukadeva Goswami saying their entire body was smeared or something like that. Entire body was decorated with cow dung, cow urine, and mud. And their mother will say, "Are, kya kar kya hai?" And then they'll get up, they'll take them and clean them. And it's described that they start feeding the milk to Krishna and Balram. Now it's very nice. Now when mothers feed milk, only mothers can have experience. Now we brahmacharis, we don't know what does it mean. So when the mother is feeding the milk, Mother Yasoda is feeding milk, Mother Rohini is feeding milk. So at that time, they are observing the small teeth which have just come in the mouth of Krishna and in the mouth of Balram. And Shukadeva Goswami describes, when they are observing the small teeth of Krishna and Balram which have come, they would be so transcendently happy, and they're smiling and smiling and smiling. And in Damodar Leela, I was sharing the other day, that when Mother Yasoda was feeding milk to Krishna, Krishna was drinking the milk and he was feeling so happy. And he was having a big smile on his face. And Mother Yasoda is observing that. And looking at his smile, Mother Yasoda, her maternal love is increasing for Krishna. And how does maternal love increase? By increased milk. And Krishna is drinking that increased milk and is smiling more. And the milk is increasing more. And Krishna is drinking more. And his smile is increasing more. And is described by the Acharyas that this pastime went on and on and on for a good amount of time. Because Mother Yasoda has unlimited capacity to feed milk. And Krishna has got unlimited capacity to drink milk. So he's called a supreme. And therefore, that supreme should have a mother like that, who can give unlimited happiness and unlimited love to the Lord. And here we see that both the mothers, they would feel very, very happy. They would drown themselves in what? Ananda-kunda. That's what we are trying to make a point here. Another pastime which we have heard many times. So when Krishna and Balaram started crawling in the courtyard or somewhere like that, the calves and all would be going around, and they would go and catch the tail of the calf. Now they are small kids, they're just crawling. The calves are also small. So as soon as they hold the tail of the calf, so it is described that the calves would become very afraid and they'd start running. And Krishna and Balaram, they would become afraid when the inanimate becomes animate. And they would become very afraid. They would close their eyes and hold the calf's tail even more tight. And the cows are running around. And who is watching all this? Just imagine. All the Braja gopis, the elderly mothers who are there, they were there in the house, hearing the sound of Krishna and Balaram and the calf. They come out of the house and they're observing all this. And it is described, no one can understand what happiness these motherly gopis were actually feeling. This line. That is, Ananda-kunda nimajjantam. They were drowning themselves in Ananda-kunda, the pools of ecstasy, the pools of happiness, looking at these different pastimes. Okay, this we can understand, this Ananda. Even we can imagine, oh, it was so nice when Krishna is doing all these pastimes. But Mother Yasoda and Rohini's Ananda was different. And Śrī Goswami is describing this, again, 10th canto, 8th chapter, Shloka 25. He says that when Krishna and Balaram started crawling, very, very mischievous right from start, and they would want to do everything and touch everything around, which is very dangerous. And Śrī Goswami is listing. He says first, Shringi. So when the huge bulls are sitting or huge cows are sitting with huge horns, sharp, maybe like our Padyatra bulls, who come. And Krishna and Balaram would be crawling towards them very fast just to go and touch those sharp horns. And Mother Yashoda and Rohini from kitchen will come running. Arey, where are you going? Come back. And they'll keep them and go and do something else. And the next thing that is given is Agni. Now wherever there is Agni, where there is fire, these two would go crawling very fast there to touch that. You can just imagine, small kid is going like that and the mother is pulling him. Arey, pichya. Yes. And then keep it somewhere. And again, next is Dove's tree. It is described with many monkeys and dogs around. And I'm sure you all know how sharp the teeth of monkeys are. If you don't know, then try some experiment with monkeys in Radhakund. Or in, I think Louis Bazaar would be best. In Vrindavan. So these kids would go crawling, Krishna and Balaram, and they want to keep their hand in the mouth of the monkey or in the mouth of the dog. And Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini, they're full of anxiety all the time, looking, where are our kids now? And go and get them back. Next thing that is said here is Asi. Asi is sword. Now sword is, just imagine somewhere it is hanging or somewhere it is kept down, shining, sharp. We want to touch that. And they'll go and then try to touch. And then again Mother Yashoda, what are you people doing? Get them back. The Jala, I was just imagining when I was reading this, Jala, water. So maybe they're crawling, not too well, and looking inside. And then maybe Krishna is telling Balaram, Bhaiya, dekho kitna acha, let's go inside. And Mother Yashoda and Rohini again pull them back and take them inside the house. Dvija. Dvija here means, obviously it will not be Brahmana. Yes. So Dvija here means birds. Why birds are called as Dvija? Because first they take birth through egg, and by hatching the egg they come out. So 2 times they take birth. They are called as Dvija. So here the birds were having sharp beak. They would go and try to touch the beak. And again Mother Yashoda and Rohini, full of anxiety, they'll count and take them. Kartikeya. So a lot of thorns and other things which are there, maybe around, maybe a rose bush or some other bush, having a lot of thorns. These two kids would like to go and see those sharp thorns, how it feels to touch them. And Mother Yasoda and Rohini, whenever they would crawl out of the house, they will keep a watch and then go and catch them and get them back. And here Shukadeva Goswami is saying that these mothers, they'll be in great anxiety. Neshedu, and this is the word that is used, just to stop them, and they would be always in anxiety. Now, anxiety mein log dukhi hote hai, they are not sukhi. There is no ananda kunda here, maybe kunda of dukkha. But here it is described that this anxieties of Mother Yasoda and Mother Rohini was so amazing that they were always drowning in the thoughts of their kids. And that was actually giving them lots of ananda. They're drowning again in the pools of ecstasy, pools of happiness. And here it is described, the anxiety with Mother Yasoda and Rohini was having was actually a great anxiety of happiness. We also hear that there is a great happiness in the separation. Now, what does that mean? We'll get to know only when we experience that. But here Shukadeva Goswami is describing about the anxiety and the happiness in the anxiety, and we understand Mother Yasoda and Rohini were always drowning themselves in Ananda Kunda. Now, in this verse that we just chanted, Iti driksva leelabhir Ananda Kunde swagosham nimajjantam. And there are two words which says bhaktyar jitatvam, that devotees would control Krishna, would conquer Krishna. And Shukadeva, this Sanatana Goswami's commentary I was reading, Digdarshani Tika. So in that, 3 verses are mentioned. Nowadays, whenever I hear any lecture and there's some verse chanted, immediately I Google it to find out, okay, there are verses existing like this, and then get them. So there are 3 verses here. 10th canto, chapter 11, shloka number 7. Very nice verse. Gopibhihi stobito dhrityat bhagavan balavat kvachit udgayati kvachin muktas yasodā-bhiyolūkhalād. So here it is said, Gopibhihi stobito dhrityayat. So Srila Prabhupada is translating word by word. And he is saying, Gopibhihi stobitaha andratyat bhagavan balavat kvachit. So sometimes when Krishna would go to the elderly motherly gopis, to their house, or when they're walking by, with a pot of butter or milk or buttermilk or water, so Krishna would go and ask, can I get some butter? Can I get some milk? It's really difficult to imagine how Krishna would be doing that. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who sleeps on the ocean of milk, is going and asking, can I get a little milk? And here it is described, what would the gopis do at that time? The gopis would say, we will give you. But drutya, dance. And here it is described that Krishna, just because the gopis are saying, you will give me milk if I dance? Yes, we will give you. Start dancing. No music, no song, and Krishna is dancing. And after a long dance, then gopis would say, this is not enough. Udgayati. Start singing. Now, what singing Krishna would do in that age? See, we are discussing Damodar Leela, which was performed when Krishna was 3 years. Yep. Before that, just imagine the beautiful, cute boy Krishna. And when he is dancing, when he is singing, what would be happening there? And the gopis are relishing like anything. And here it is said, Tad yasodā-bhiyolūkhalād. Now gopis are saying dance, Krishna is dancing. Gopis are saying sing, Krishna is singing. And therefore here, Shukadeva Goswami is using a very nice word, and he says, Tad vasho, he was controlled. How was he controlled? Like daru yantraha, like the wooden dolls, the puppets. Now the way the puppeteer controls the puppets, like that, Krishna was controlled by the gopis. Do you remember any BBT picture where the puppets are controlled? 3 modes of material nature. So there are three ladies and they are controlling. And above them there's another controller. And he is controlling these three ladies and they are controlling various personalities of this world. And Krishna makes it very clear in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Maya dhakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. And he's saying, I am the one who controls the Prakriti and she is the one who makes everyone dance like puppets. And here we see completely opposite. Krishna is in the receiving end. And here gopis are controlling Krishna. Therefore it is described, Bhagavad Gita is valid outside Vrindavan, not inside Vrindavan. Because in Vrindavan we see that Yogamaya Shakti works and outside Vrindavan Mahamaya Shakti works. And here it is very, very clear that how these simple cowherd ladies, they are controlling Krishna. How beautiful, how amazing. Next verse. Vivarti kvachid agyaptah piton pitakon mana padukam baukshepa cha kurute swanam cha pritim avahan. Again, this past time I had heard, but this verse I found today. Vivarti kvachit agyaptah. Now, Mother Yasoda would give instruction to Krishna. When would she give instruction to Krishna? And here it is said, Swanam cha. So when some gopis would come or some guests would come, so at that time, Mother Yasoda would give instruction to Krishna. Okay, guests have come, so go and get. What to get? Pitha. And then the next word is used, pitaka unmana, the wooden seat, pitaka, so that they can sit. And second thing is unmana, pitaka unmana, that is the container made up of wood. So it looks like they were using containers made up of wood, as a mug or something like that. So get pitaka for sitting, and before that get pitaka unmana for what? For washing their hands and feet. And very nice, bahokshebam. So Krishna, before he goes to get that, he would do all drama. And here it said, bahokshepam cha kurute. Yes, I'll get it. And ready with both the arms. I was just imagining how that would be to see. And he would do all that, and Mother Yasoda is looking at him, and the gopis are looking at him, the guests are looking at him. And here it is very nicely described that Swanam cha pritim avahan. Just to give pleasure to the guests who have come. And who are those guests? Brajavasis. Just to give pleasure to the gopis, he would do all this drama, and then he would say, I'll get it. And he goes there. Now, he is not less than 3 years. Wooden seat is huge. The wooden container is huge. And here it is described that he would go there and simply stand. Now he's looking at the pitaka, the wooden seat. He's looking at the wooden container and he's thinking, from which side should I lift? And Prabhupada also writes, he's simply standing and he's going and touching it from all the sides possible and thinking how to lift from different angles. And at that time, Mother Yasoda comes there. What are you doing? You're supposed to lift and get this. And here it is described that Krishna would not be able to lift. The same Krishna. It is very, very important when we are reading this pastime. Manoranjan is okay, that's separate. But one has to understand who is that Krishna. The same Krishna who lifted Govardhan. That Krishna is here and he's unable to lift. What he's unable to lift? He's not able to lift the wooden seat. He's not able to lift the wooden containers. And at the same time, the paduka of the guest. So in this way, when Krishna is performing all these pastimes, we understand Mother Yasoda gives the instruction and he tries his best to execute that instruction. So Guru is giving instruction and disciple is trying to do it. And when disciple is failing, Guru helps. So I think we can also do that in our day-to-day life. We have to just endeavor. We have to endeavor and mercy will flow and we'll be able to execute the instruction. So very, very nice that how Mother Yasoda is controlling Krishna. And here all the control that is happening, Bhaktir jitatvam, that's the word that we're trying to describe. All the control that is happening is by the love of those gopis. The next verse. Darshayam stat vidhanam loka atmano bhratyavashyatam varjasyo vah vaiharsham bhagavan balacheshtitaihi. So Prabhupada is translating this very, very wonderful verse. And he says, Bhagavan balacheshtitaihi. Supreme Personality of Godhead, but now what is he doing? He's doing all his Bal Leela. And by doing his Bal Leela, we understand that he's giving pleasure to all the Brajavasis, Harsham. He's giving pleasure to all the Brajavasis in Vrajasya, in Vrajabhumi. Prabhupada says, to pure devotees throughout the world who could understand his activities, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna exhibited how much he can be subdued by his devotees. Atmanaha Vrityavashyatam. In this way, increase the pleasure of Rajavasis by his childhood activities. This is Bhaktya Arjitatva. So Rajavasis are controlling Krishna. Now let's understand one thing, that why is he doing all these pastimes? First reason is clear. Ananda Kunde Nimajjantam. To drown himself in Ananda Kunda, to drown all the Brajvasis in Ananda Kunda, to drown the entire Dham in Ananda Kunda. And maybe the devotees were listening. But along with that, there is another very important thing that Krishna is doing. Akhyapayantam tadiyeshita deshu. This is the line that we sing, right? Very, very important. Akhyapayantam. He's actually telling everyone, Akhyapayantam. He's telling, he's showing. What is he trying to show? Tadiya ishita neshu bhakte jitatvam. All those devotees or all those people who are worshipping Krishna, how are they worshipping Krishna? Ishita neshu. Understanding his supremacy. The ones who are understanding the supremacy of the Lord and then worshipping the Lord and then serving the Lord, for them, Akhyapayantam, he is showing. What is he showing? He is showing Bhaktir Jitatvam, that you all might be worshipping me by understanding my supremacy. But then, for your information, I am controlled by whom? My Bhaktas. And here, it's very clear, it is Premi Bhaktas. The devotees obtain the love of Krishna. Now comes philosophy, so hear carefully. Very, very important to note. See, why are we worshipping Krishna? When we came to ISKCON, we were given the session, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Quotes from Bhagavad Gita 7.7, 10.8, yes, 15.15. All these different shlokas we heard. Okay, Krishna is Supreme Personality, we have to worship him. 15.7, we are his part and parcel, so we should worship him. So all these different things, we have learnt. And then, okay, chalo, now we'll worship Krishna. So now we are approaching Krishna and say someone is asking us, who is Krishna? The first thing that comes out from our mouth is, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now it's very, very important to note that when these Brajavasis are worshipping Krishna, when they're serving Krishna, they have no clue of Krishna being Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now the Brajavasis mode, you see, if someone wants to become a Brajavasi, I don't know how to become that, but then, there's a procedure. If you want to become a Brajavasi, first thing that one has to understand is Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Worship him because he's supreme. And then after that, forget that he's supreme and then continue serving him. I repeat. So understand Krishna is supreme and then start serving him. And then while serving, you develop attachment to Krishna and then forget that Krishna is supreme and continue serving. So I was hearing Amrendra Post class and he was giving an example of harmonium. I have never played that, but I could relate to Mridanga and Kartal. See, now when you're learning Mridanga, many of you are learning Mridanga. So we learned all this. Tere kheta jha. Yes. And then the Prabhupada, the beat. What's the Prabhupada beat? Ki kinakada geda geda din din ta ta tere tere ta. Now when you're playing all this, Maybe when we are playing with mantra, okay, we'll remember that mantra and we'll start playing. When the kirtan starts, you will never see any mridanga player, closing his eyes, ki, ta, ta. He is busy playing. And you should see when devotees are playing expert mridanga players, they will have expression on the face and dance with the mridangas. And if you are in Mayapur, you will see them dancing in air also. And even karta also for that matter. Initially when we start, especially the fast beat, right, left, stop. Right, left, stop. And devotees, when they start playing fast and when they are in the kirtan, now the mood is completely different. You should see how happy they are when they're playing. Again in Mayapur, during Kirtan Mela and all that, kartal is thrown up and caught and then, So what's happening? When you were learning, you learned with the mantras, and then you're actually there in the kirtan. You're relishing the kirtan, playing the instrument. You've forgotten the mantras. But then something is happening with your hands. Something is happening, with your happiness. So here we understand very clearly that during the learning phase, the devotee is playing with all the mantras. And when he is expert, he's just there as expert. Very nicely enjoying the kirtan and assisting in the kirtan. And the explanation was given very beautifully that how even these, even us for that matter, we understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. We worship Him. And when we develop attachment to Him, then the supremacy is forgotten, but what remains is attachment and what remains is service. So devotee continues to serve. Devotee continues to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not remembering that He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now when it comes to us, we understand that Krishna is Supreme, so we are worshipping. Maybe after some time, say the Acharya tells us, no, Krishna is not Supreme, this person is Supreme. We'll shift. Our entire devotional service is based on what? It is based on the philosophy that we have learned from Shastra. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is given, Siddhanta balya chitte na kara alas. So don't be lazy when it comes to understanding Siddhanta, philosophy. Why? Because when you understand philosophy, then by implementing that what you have learned from the Shastra, that is executing or practicing devotional service, then you will develop attachment. That's very, very important to note that we are worshipping the Lord because He is Supreme. And when we are asked, okay, the Supreme has changed, we'll worship that person. But when it comes to Brajavasis, they are not worshipping Krishna because Krishna is Supreme. In fact, they're least bothered to know who is Krishna. They just know He is Krishna. And they continue to worship. In fact, we understand, from various pastimes, we are offering bhoga to Krishna with all that rules and regulation. When we are cooking, we cook, chanting Mahamantra. And then if some negative thought comes, no, I'll not think about this. When you are doing Aarti to the Lord, 4, 2, 3, 7, yes. And then the second initial devotees have some mantras to chant. They chant silently. And they're fully awake. And suddenly a negative thought comes, no, I'm worshipping. Worshipping the Supreme Lord. Now, do you think when Mother Yasoda is cooking for Krishna, she's thinking about all this? When she offered chappan bhog for the first time, after the entire Govardhan Leela, 7 days Krishna is holding Govardhan. He's fasting for 7 days. 8 times Mother Yasoda would feed every day. And all that calculation, 7 into 8, after the Govardhan Leela became 56. And the first time Mother Yasoda is offering chappan bhog to Krishna. Now tell me, when Mother Yasoda is offering chappan bhog to Krishna, does she have all this in the head that, Supreme Personality of Godhead and I should feed? The only thing that was there in the head of Mother Yasoda was, for 7 days my kid is fasting and I should feed him. Now when she is bathing Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna sac-cid-ānanda-rūpam, nothing. Stand properly. Move here, move that side. What are you doing? Where are you going? Come back. Now her Brahma Samhita is different. Our Brahma Samhita is different. Now when she is bathing Krishna, she is not bathing Krishna because he's supreme or something like, no, he's my kid. I have to clean him. Now when she is dressing Krishna, now when we pujaris, when we dress the deities, No, then we put water, achman water on the paraphernalia. Do some mudras on that. Yes, purify the place. And then when we are offering also, then we tell the Lord, idam vastram, chant the bijakshara, and then put the dress. Idam imani abharanani, and then put the abharana, and then dress them. And then Mother Yasoda is dressing. Krishna, where are you looking? Look here. And then you're dressing. So now here a very, very important thing comes into picture, that Mother Yasoda is doing all this service to Krishna, not remembering or not understanding that he is supreme, and she is least bothered to understand that Krishna is supreme. But the only thing that is there is attachment to Krishna, that affection for Krishna, that love for Krishna. This is the premi bhakta, or the bhakti done with Krishna prem. There are pastimes where the gopis come and they say, Maya, our Krishna has done this. And mother is correcting. Our Krishna, my Krishna. Can you imagine the attachment that Mother Yasoda has? And same with all the gopas also there. My Krishna, my friend Krishna. And what to talk about the gopis, they're at different level only. So in this way we see that all these different personalities who are there in Vrindavan, Brajabhumi, and especially these pastimes, they're all premi bhaktas. They're least bothered to know that Krishna is supreme. They're least bothered to understand that who Krishna is. The only thing that they know is he is our Krishna. And when it comes to us, when we are asked who is Krishna, I do this experiment in devotee association when I'm giving class. Who is Krishna? Then start telling, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is that personality who controls the entire material nature. Not even a blade of grass moves without the sanctioning of Krishna. So Krishna is Supreme Lord. And here we have to understand there's a transition that is needed from Supreme Lord to my Lord if you want to control the Lord, the way these personalities are controlling. Therefore, it's a very, very important thing to note that it's very, very important at our level to understand Krishna is Supreme and worship the Lord. Because as of now, our situation is, we want to become the Lord, lording it over material nature. In the recent class which I gave, one person was asking that we understand that there are different rasas. Now we have this, some devotees worship with vatsalya ras, motherly affection. Some devotees worship the Lord with sakya ras or madhurya ras. So Prabhuji, what are we supposed to do? So it's very, very important to understand. As of now, to understand that I'm Das is very, very difficult. Why do you think in initiation we get a name and then with the Das after that? Once Srila Prabhupada, he gave initiation and the devotee came back, the disciple, and he said, Prabhupada, I forgot my name. Can you please tell me, what is that? And Prabhupada said, you remember the second part? Said, yes, I remember the second part, that is Das, that is enough. That is sufficient. Why do you think this Das is given, this title is given? Because we, devotees, or practicing devotees, we are trying to become Prabhu with a G. Yes? That's what we're trying to become. Masters in this world. And the initiation process or the process of devotional service helps us to understand that you are not Prabhu. You are Das. And to accept that I am Das is so difficult. Even during initiations I have seen, devotees come and say, Kitna acha naam mila aapko. So nice, Shyama Sundar. Das, that is the name. That is the name. You see, that it's very natural for us not to remain Prabhu always. But the process of devotional service is helping us to understand that from Prabhu you come down. Prabhu, come down and become Das. Only when you become Das, when you become servant, then you can serve the Lord. So the current struggle of sadhakas is this. From Prabhu, we have to become Das. This is one of the current struggle of devotees. That is all of us, practicing devotees, I mean. So it's very, very important that we understand that our situation is pathetic. We are the masters of this world, and Prabhupada writes many times for us in the purports, we are the ones who are lording it over material nature. Again and again Prabhupada writes this. Why? Because our situation is that we are trying to lord it over material nature. Forget about that. When we are practicing devotees, we are trying to lord it over the Lord also. I want to enjoy the kirtan, I want to enjoy the darshan, I want to enjoy the prasad. Everywhere we who are supposed to be enjoyed are trying to become the enjoyer. So what is the process of bhakti all about? The process of bhakti is that from the mood of enjoyer, you become enjoyed. From the mood of master, Prabhu, you become das, servant. And from the mode of receiving service, come down, or I should say go up, to give service or to offer service to the Lord. So in this way, our current situation is a situation of transition. And somehow we have to understand that yes, I'm supposed to do this transition, and this transition is huge for your information. Why? Because from time immemorial, we have believed, we believe even now, hopefully we shouldn't, but then if we continue to believe that I am Prabhu, we are there in that situation. For conviction that I am the enjoyer and everything around me is meant for my enjoyment. So this transition is going to be a huge transition from Prabhu to Das. Therefore, it's a very important thing to understand how the transition will happen. And there's another very important thing to understand, that who can actually control Krishna and who can actually attain, or who can actually attain Goloka Vrindavan. That also has to be understood. So who can attain Goloka Vrindavan? Only Premi Bhaktas can attain Goloka Vrindavan. Yes. Only Premi Bhaktas can participate in the pastimes of the Lord. Not anyone and everyone. No Das 1, Das 2, Das 3. Not these Dasas. Yes. So only Premi Bhaktas can attain that eternal service of the Lord. But now our situation is different. We are not into Raganuga. We are not into spontaneous devotional service. So currently we are in Vaidhi. That is devotional service with rules and regulations. Therefore, when some devotees, when they try to act spontaneously in service of the Lord, it irritates senior devotees. What are you trying to do? Making fun of spontaneous devotional service. Because as of now, in our situation, what we are expected to do is just follow the instruction of Guru and Krishna. That's it. There is no second thought beyond this. And this is called as Vidhi Bhakti or Vaidhi Bhakti. I'm doing it. Why you're doing it? Out of love for Krishna? No, my Guru has told this, so I'm doing it. Why are you offering bhoga at this time? My Guru has told. Because Krishna is hungry, let him be hungry, it's okay. Guru has told. So I'm offering. So by doing this Vaidhi Bhakti, we are trying to imbibe that mode that I am not the master, I am the servant. And with time, when this mode sinks in our entire existence, and then by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, when we get the gift of Krishna Prem, then we can think of some rasa in the spiritual world. I would like to make a very important point here, that Premi Bhaktas are the ones who are going to attain the higher destination of participating or assisting the Lord in His pastimes. And when it comes to us, we are sadhaka bhaktas. So we have no place anywhere as such till we attain prema. So what are we supposed to do currently? And how can we get that prema is the question that every sadhaka should get. The last line of this particular stanza that is there, it says, Punaha prema tastam shata vrittir vande. Again and again, Satyavrat Muni is offering obeisances to the Lord. Now, again and again offering obeisances. I remember one of the Kartik month I had taken a vow of paying some X number of that davat. Very difficult. It was almost like push-ups that I was doing. But when we understand from our Goswamis, Das Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, he would offer 1,000 dandavats to the Lord and 2,000 to the devotees. So total 3,000 dandavat. Try and see one day how it feels. The muscles become very strong. Just think about it. Now, a person cannot do this seva if he has not attained prema. Very difficult. But our Goswamis, they have proved by their own example that how by following rules and regulation is important. You'll never see Goswamis in a different Sahaja mood. Yes? Goswamis are always in that mode where they're busy executing the instruction given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave specific instruction to our Goswamis that you have to go to Vrindavan and there you have to establish temples, you have to establish the process of worship, you have to write scriptures. And this was their life and soul. This was their life and soul. This is what they were doing all day and all night. And sometimes they would sleep. How much time? Half an hour, 1 hour max. I'm not talking about day rest. I'm talking about the entire 24 hours I'm talking about. And they'll be doing that. And they have shown by their own example how one has to follow the instruction. And here you understand very clearly in their the scriptures that they have written, they have attained prema. And in the scriptures, they make it very clear that one can attain prema when he gets the prema, when it is gifted by a devotee who has it. And therefore, this Krishna prema that is there, it has to be gifted by another personality who has it. And in our life, it is Srila Prabhupada who has it. And he can actually gift it to us. By our own endeavor, we cannot attain Krishna prema. This is something that has to be very clear for devotees. We cannot attain. By our own endeavor, not possible. It is said, no? Bahu janma yadi kare shravana kirtan tabu na paibe Krishna prema dhan. So this is dhan, this is wealth. This is the wealth of those wealthy people and who have that wealth. That is Krishna prema. So personalities like Srila Prabhupada, who are actually Brajavasis, who have that Braja mode, who have that Braja prema, they can actually give. So as sadhakas at our level, this is what is very much important to understand. We have to execute whatever instructions they have given to us. And Srila Prabhupada's instructions are our life and soul. So reading his books and trying to understand that what is the philosophy, what is the Siddhanta, and living by that Siddhanta and executing the instructions on a practical day-to-day life is something which we are expected to do. And when we are doing that, pleasing these great souls is not difficult. You do little devotional service, they are pleased. But that should be a sincere endeavor, not an endeavor with duplicity. When the sincere endeavor is put, these great personalities are pleased. When these great personalities are pleased, they will award us this Braja Bhakti or Krishna prema or whatever words you want to use. So in this way we understand that Satyavrat Muni, who is offering this very, very wonderful prayer, Iti driksva leelabhir ananda kunde svaghosham nimajjantam. Is this line clear now? Iti driksva leelabhir ananda kunde svaghosham nimajjantam. So Lord is performing his various pastimes, and all these different devotees who are seeing these pastimes, who are witnessing these pastimes, they are getting drowned in Ananda Kunda. And while doing this pastime, Lord himself is drowning himself in Ananda Kunda, and the entire dham is drowned in Ananda Kunda. And why is Lord doing this? Akshyapayantam, because he wants to tell all those sadhaka devotees, Tadi eshita gneshu, all those devotees who are worshipping the Lord, understanding his supremacy, he wants to tell them that I cannot be conquered by the vidhi bhakti that you're doing. The bhakti of understanding that I am supreme and then you're rendering me service. I cannot be conquered by that, because I am conquered by bhaktir jitatvam, by the pure devotional service or the devotional service rendered with love. Only by those devotees I will be conquered. By understanding all this, Satyavrat Muni, Puna prematastam shatabhritti vande, he is offering his obeisances, and it's not one or two obeisances, shatabhritti vande. He is offering his repeated obeisances. And here we understand very clearly that somehow we have to do this huge transition from Prabhu to Das, and that transition will happen when we have sincere endeavor in executing devotional service, and the devotional service not what we think, the devotional service what we have been asked to do. And then we can do this transition. And this transition shouldn't take many lifetimes now. because we have come to a very bona fide place, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, led by the bona fide Acharya, who is non-different, or who is the Senapati Bhakta of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And after getting connected to the bona fide Sampradaya, there is no question of multiple lifetimes. The goal is in one lifetime. And this transition has to be made in one lifetime. And therefore, those devotees who are aspiring for this transition, they have to offer prayers to the Lord that please help me. Please help me to do this transition, because He can give the realization. So the Prabhu can become Das when he's realized that I am not Prabhu, I am Das. So with this, I would like to pause here. Very, very wonderful verse. So whenever we are chanting this, now I think we know what is the mode and what are we supposed to think. Thank you very much. Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakaṁ ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.